Hey everybody, welcome back to Atala Farms Homestead. Thank you for joining us today. We coming with a little special video today. We're right here in front of the little pond with a good reflection on it, and we're reflecting on the last year and the events that we went through. You've heard of me talk about a tornado of March 2023 and several of the other videos in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. And the last few days we've been reflecting on that because today is the anniversary of that tornado. Lots of lives upended on that tornado. 14 people died in the city of Rolling Fork, several others in the Silver City community, and numerous people lost everything, including their homes, all their belongings, upended their lives. So we've been reflecting on that and the tragedy of it, the hardships we went through, and the blessings on the other side. So we just want to kind of talk to you a little bit about it today and just bring some awareness to it. There's some good things going on the back end of it, and we'll just kind of start at the beginning. On that day, I was at work about 800 miles away from home, 13-hour drive, and Michelle called me. I think it was around 8:05 p.m. There was a tornado headed to Rolling Fork, and I did the normal thing. Well, just get prepared. And she's like, "No, Robbie, it's on the ground, headed that way." And after turning YouTube on, watching Ryan Hall, who we watch for weather on there, it goes live, he was really serious about the time I cut the TV on, like there's a huge tornado coming, et cetera, et cetera. Saw the radar. And Michelle, about that time, 4 or 5 minutes went by. It was 8:08, 8:09, if I remember correctly. And she's like, Robbie, it's here. She told me I love you 3 times. Could hear the wind, hear the kids screaming, her starting to scream. Then the phone went dead. I left home and was headed home, and it was 3 or 4 hours before I heard from her on the way home, 10-hour drive. So that's kind of my experience of it. As I wasn't there, I'll let her tell what she experienced that night, and we'll go into some other stuff. So, Michelle, if you want to tell them what y'all went through that night.
I was at home with the kids, and like you said, it had just gotten dark, and the lightning was like lightning I've never seen before. It was like a strobe light. And I walked to the front porch, and I was watching Ryan Hall, and I called Robbie while I was watching him. And about that time, one of the storm chasers said, Ryan, we have a huge wedge on the ground. And my husband, he was leaving the gym and was headed back to his office, and so he hadn't at this point, he hasn't gotten to his desk to pull everything up. And I said, Robbie, they're saying it's on the ground. And he's like, okay, we'll just get in the hall. And so I already had the kids in the hall, and I went in that period of time. Somebody said, don't walk, run. And Ryan, I believe,
Yeah, on the TV. Yeah.
said, don't walk, run. And so I went straight to the hall. I had a mattress sitting up in the hall, and I threw the mattress over the kids. They were sitting in a closet, and I told him, I said, I hear it. I hear it. And of course, told him that I loved him, that we all loved him. And I just grabbed a hold of the closet door frame and just kept praying that my kids wouldn't get snatched away from me. So, and it went on, and he heard us screaming, and the phone went dead. And after that, it was like he said, it was about 2 hours before I could get back in touch with him. But I already had family, I had cousins, and my parents, they were already on the way. And his cousin was on his way and helped get us out of the house. And then I had a cousin of mine that when he turned the corner, we had to they had to pull us out of the house, and we walked up to the hospital, and we were in the parking lot. And when my cousin made the corner, I just fell all to pieces because I knew he was gonna get us where we needed to go, and it was gonna be all right. And but it was pure devastation. Right after it happened, most of the house was gone, and I kept thinking, we've got to get outside. We've got to get outside, because I didn't know if the house was going to fall in. And we walked out to the front. There's power lines down everywhere, trees down everywhere. I couldn't go left. I couldn't go right. We were standing on the sidewalk in front of my house, our house, and there was people starting to walk. And my son started screaming for them to help us, and everything was quiet. And nobody said anything back. And I finally just looked at my son. I said, "Baby, they were just thrown out of their home. They need help too." And then it started pouring rain. And I said, "Okay, we've got to go back in the house." So we went back in the house, and because we couldn't get out that way, there was trees down everywhere. And then his cousin showed up and had to lift us off of our back porch and across power lines and across trees to just get us to the road where people were already clearing, and we could walk up to the hospital. It was pure devastation. There was a gas station across the creek from our house, and it was just gone. It was gone. There was apartments behind that gas station. There was our neighbors' homes. They were just gone. And it was devastating to a lot of people that night. It's a night that I don't think very many of us are going to ever forget.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult not hearing from them for several 2 or 3 hours, and finally heard from her, and said they were of course emotionally disturbed but physically okay. And her parents, she after my cousin Neil Williams and her cousin Lance Davis
They'll never
and
know how
Jason,
much.
yeah, we'll never know how much we appreciate y'all for helping us. But once they got settled and she went back to her parents for the night, and I drove through the night getting to town and rolled into town. And I've been there all my life. I'm 43 and probably lived 40 years of that life there. And the place was unrecognizable. Rolled into our house to just kind of assess the situation, and it was, say, I was kind of shell shocked, just trying to figure out what to do. I was standing in the driveway trying to figure out how to get to the house because there was trees down in the driveway and around it. And this lady, she walked up today. I probably wouldn't know her, but she put her arm around me and said, "You look like you need some help." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I need to get in this driveway." And she pointed to the right, and I remember looking, and I guess still shell shock, tunnel vision, didn't see anything, but there was a truck with a mini excavator sitting on it. And in about 20 minutes, they had the driveway cleared. We were able to at least get a trailer in and start salvaging what we could. And over the next few days, the volunteers that poured in, the people with food, the people with help, with chainsaws, heavy equipment, just
It
the
was
things, yeah, it
unbelievable.
was unbelievable. The things you need and don't realize you need, and the help that came with that was just, it was awe inspiring. It was pretty awesome to see the help that came in. And of course, that lasted for some time, and then people eased out, and it's kind of been on, the locals from there to take from. But our experience, it didn't topple our house. It destroyed it beyond really reasonable repair. There was friends behind us, a couple of streets behind us. The house is collapsing on. There was nothing but slabs or toothpicks. I'm going to say just nothing left of the house really.
There was friends
Um,
of ours that rode it out in vehicles in their driveway,
yeah,
trying to get home, and couldn't get out of their vehicles quick enough.
but it was. I've been a paramedic for close to 20 years, and I've seen tornadoes, I've seen fires, I've seen disaster, I've seen death, and of course, it happened to me and my family, so it's an extra level. But I've never seen devastation on that level. Um, but the people came together, got the place cleaned up. Of course, everybody is helping everybody, and then everybody's of course trying to salvage what's left of their lives and their homes. And um, we just over the next few weeks, month or so, we slowly salvaged what we could out of her house. My wife called her the family hoarder. It's one thing.
Family historian.
Historian, I say hoarder. She says historian. But one of the lessons we learned out of it was contentness. She had tons of grandmothers and great grandmothers of china and whatnots and very memorable things and some valuable. And she lost every bit of it. The side of the house, the dining room and living room where she had all that stuff was where it was at. And the wind blew part of that wall out and the windows out. And there's stuff we still hadn't found. We never found. I'm sure it got sucked out of the house. And that's one lesson that we all learned from it is things are they're a dime a dozen. They can be replaced.
My Christmas stuff, my Christmas stuff was gone, but somebody else's Christmas stuff was blown into our house.
It's amazing the things that the winds, what the winds did. But you lose all your stuff for the majority of it. There's some people lost everything. We were able to salvage some clothes and a few furniture items. Not much, but having to deal with that and learning that that's all replaceable. Your lives aren't replaceable. Our son was interviewed by a weather guy, and that was one thing he
Ryan
says.
Hall himself.
Yeah, and then at the end of the interview, he looked at Ryan Hall and said, "You can replace everything, but you can't replace us." And that was so true. That's probably the biggest lesson we've learned from it, and the blessing we've had from it is just learning to be content through it. And the Lord has blessed us immensely since then. And I know He's blessed many other people, but
there's still a lot of people that are suffering.
They are.
And there is some survivor's guilt. There's a lot of people that still that still need help and don't have places to go. Right. So I carry a lot of survivor guilt.
And there's, the city of Rolling Fork, half the people over there were renters. And if you know anything about government assistance, if you're a renter, there's really nothing. The assistance goes to the property owner, the homeowner. So if you lived in an apartment, trailer, even home, if anything rental, if you had renter's insurance, it covered your contents, but you have no place to go. So there's half the population of Rolling Fork that has no home. And there's a group over there called Rolling Fork Rising, started by a local preacher, Brother Britt Williamson, and they've got a board and they are doing great things. I think they've built 5 or 6 homes, have numerous other properties purchased, and their goal is to get renters back into homes and back into Rolling Fork where they want to be.
And even some helping them become homeowners that were renters.
And that's what we wanted to do today, just bring awareness to the situation. There's going to be lots of thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, memories show up on social media. And pray for the people over there. It's going to be a tough couple of days, probably weeks going forward. The blessing is that people are resilient there. They are small knit community. Everybody knows everybody, and they've banded together and neighbor helping neighbor. And of course, this Rolling Fork Rising doing wonderful things of getting people back in their homes. Businesses are coming back, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit of our experience and bring awareness to that. And hopefully, you can pray for them. If you feel inclined to donate to Rolling Fork Rising, they are doing wonderful things. We'll put a link in the description, and somewhere on this video, we'll put a little QR code for you to find them easily. But just remember us, remember the town, remember everybody. And the one little place I want to talk about that was almost forgotten was Silver City.
Right.
They were hit just as hard as Rolling Fork, but much smaller, and they got no press. Well, I say no press, very little press.
Very little.
And
they feel forgotten.
They do. There's been some interviews and people feel forgotten over there. So I don't know if anybody's doing anything particular for that community, but if we find out, we'll link it and just pray for them and remember them also. They went through just as devastating losses as anybody else. But, it's like typical news. They're going to go to where the actual big stories at, because Rolling Fork was bigger. That's where it came, and the president came and looked, and of course all the state officials. And but we're gonna put some videos and some pictures of our house and our experiences, and you can Google and YouTube search Rolling Fork tornado. I'm sure it'll bring lots of stuff up if you want to review and look. And like I said, just pray for the people. They're going to need it over the next few days and probably the next few years of rebuilding and getting back to normal. This is not an overnight thing.
And we're going back not only memories of a year ago today, but we're going into tornado season.
Yep.
And especially our kids, not just our kids, but
All the young ones.
all the young ones that went through all of this. Weather affects them a great deal, any kind of weather. So please pray for them, because this has been very, very difficult for them.
Yeah, with some young people that night that had to see some things, and even I know that I heard of some young teenage gentlemen that had to help do some search and rescue that's probably changed their lives forever. But so just pray for everybody. The good thing about it is it's a small knit community. I'm going to say good, probably 95+%, probably 99% people over there right with the Lord or close with Him. And that's what you got to remember, to put Him first in everything, and He'll guide you through it. He's guided us for sure. There's no doubt about
No
that.
doubt.
We wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for the favor of the Lord. And anybody watching in Rolling Fork, Silver
No
City,
doubt.
anyway, just like put the good Lord in your life first. He'll guide you. You may have to go through some storms, some valleys, but the peak somewhere if you'll keep Him first. And all the people out there watching, like I said, please remember them, pray for them. If you feel inclined to donate to Rolling Fork Rising, they're doing some good stuff helping people get back to normal. So we thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. God loves you, and come on back for the next one. Thank you from the Tala Farms Homestead.